falling into a wood chipper?
Good morning. You are listening to Money Talk with Melanie. This is your business diva, Melanie Collette, on the Exceptional Conservative Network at SHR Media and High Plains Talk Radio. Happy Wednesday to everyone this morning. It is a beautiful, nearly 60 degrees in Springfield, Pennsylvania, which is where I am broadcasting from today. I'm out of town today. But it's beautiful outside, and of course, when it is beautiful outside in February, that means we have a pound of snow on the way. At least that's what it means when you live on the East Coast. So, so that's what's about to go down on the East Coast. I heard we're getting tons of snow. There's going to be school closures and et cetera, but not for me because I'm no longer a teacher. A public school teacher anyway. All right, so we have a lot going on. I have a lot to cover, so let's get to it. First of all, we have a very special guest this morning, the one and only Eboni K. Williams, Esquire. She is, if you don't recognize the name, you will certainly recognize the face. She is a legal and political analyst and Fox News contributor. She's on Fox regularly as a Fox News contributor, and she's on Outnumbered pretty regularly, excuse me, as well. What else do I have to tell you? Also, if you would like to attend a very important event going on this weekend, the Black Republican Trailblazers Awards weekend. It's on Saturday, February 11th and 12th. It's at the JW Marriott Hotel, 1331 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest in D.C., Washington, D.C. The Exceptional Conservative Network would like to give you VIP access to this historic event. It's going to be a fantastic event. This year's awardees include Gerald Boyd Sr. He's the president of DB Consulting in D.C., Maxine Blake, an Ohio civil rights icon out of Akron, Ohio. Alan Inman, the president of Global Peace Foundation out of New York. Richard Finley, COO of the Finley Group out of Birmingham, Alabama. Robert Wallace, the CEO of Bith Group Technologies Incorporated out of Baltimore, Maryland. Reimagining the Dream is this year's theme for this important event. We want to celebrate by giving you VIP access, which includes a VIP reception and panel discussion with the honorees on Saturday, February 11th at 6:30 p.m. and the prestigious Black Republican Trailblazers Awards luncheon on Sunday the 12th. This is a very, very valuable ticket. You really want to get in on this. We have 8 tickets. The first 8 persons to register for VIP access tickets for themselves and a guest to attend the VIP reception and the prestigious award luncheon. Register today. And if you do that, you'll be able to meet your favorite Exceptional Conservative Network host. Like, for example, Ralph Chittum's and Lonnie Poindexter from The Right Guys, Shannon and Mike from The Right Way, and the one and only Kenneth McClinton. And if you have any interest at all in meeting me, I'll be there. Melanie, your business diva, will be there as well. And, you know, you'll be able to take pictures with us and hang out with us at the tables, and we're going to chat you up because, you know, that's kind of what we do. So it's going to be a good time. So go to the Exceptional Conservative Network website right now and register to get your free tickets. The first 8 registrants are going to receive the VIP access tickets. And like I said, the winners are going to get photo opportunities and they're going to sit with the host. We're going to announce the winners on Thursday's show on all of our morning shows, during the drive time shows, during The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, and during The Right Guys with Lonnie Poindexter and the Reverend Ralph J. Chittims. If you like alerts on the Exceptional Conservative Network, please follow the Exceptional Conservative Network at Mr. Exceptional 1 on Twitter. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, that is at Money Talk Mel, at Money Talk Mel. That's one word, as all Twitter handles are. And if you'd like to like my Facebook page, I'm 2 likes away from 200. And, you know, me being the OCD person that I am, I like nice, even numbers. So, so go to my Facebook page and like it, Money Talk with Melanie. And you can see me live on Facebook every time I do the show if you pop onto the page during the show. What's going on in the news? Oh, my goodness. So much. Let's see. We're still waiting, as far as I know. I have not seen a Fox News alert. Usually I'll get an alert on my phone when something big happens, so I would assume that this has not happened yet. We're still waiting for a decision from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals on the travel ban. On January 29th, President Trump signed an executive order suspending our refugee program and a 90-day ban on travel to the U.S. Of citizens from 7 terror hotspots, really. Iran, Iraq, Syria, Libya, Yemen, Somalia, and the Sudan. Now, we were sued. The government was sued, obviously. The Trump administration was sued under the auspices of it being a religious ban. And it's at the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. That court is traditionally very liberal, so the expectation is that they're probably going to uphold the suspension because what happened was they sued, and a few states sued. The ban was suspended. Now they're going to appeal the suspension. The suspension's probably going to get upheld. Now you may be asking yourself, why is she talking about this ban on a Money Show? You know why? Because the Supreme Court this is why appointments of Supreme Court justices are important, and because things like whether or not it was constitutional for Obamacare to include the individual mandate were decided at the Supreme Court level. And if you don't, is there anything that has affected your pocketbooks more than Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act over the last few years? I think not, especially if you're a small business. But whether you're a small business or an individual who's just an independent contractor or whatever, everyone in the United States was somehow affected by the Affordable Care Act. Kerching. So, you really, the Supreme Court is very, very important, and that's why, I see fit to mention something like that on a Money Show. Now, this is a little scary. I'm going to talk about, I saw a story about emails that didn't have anything to do with Hillary Clinton. How about that? But this is a little scary. Yesterday, or late last week, a U.S. judge said that Google, and by the way, I have like 3 Gmail accounts. I don't know about everybody else, but Gmail is pretty popular email accounts. So be warned that late last week, a U.S. judge said that Google has to hand over emails connected with an FBI fraud case, and the emails are being stored overseas. That is scary on a whole lot of levels. Now, of course, Google was like, no, because, our customers' privacy, et cetera, et cetera. Microsoft had a similar issue, and, their lawyers said, you can't do that. You're reaching beyond the borders of your authority. And they were, in my opinion. And and they won. Well, Google lost. I guess Microsoft had better lawyers. I don't I don't know. But that's something we might want to keep our eye on. I mean, I'm a little conflicted on that, to be honest, but because there's some cases where I'm like, yeah, give up the emails, you know what I mean? Like in cases of terrorism and stuff like that, I'm all about the white hat and give up the emails. But then, like, when it comes to, I don't know, fraud cases, I'm just like, well, private companies should keep track of their own fraud. I don't know. But anyway, we're coming up on our first break. When we come back, we will have Ms. Eboni K. Williams, Esquire, on. And believe me, I'm going to be asking her about the legal implications of all of these things. We'll be right back in a few moments.
He's big-footed enough radio shows to last a lifetime, courtesy of Sean, Clint, Ken, and Jersey Joe. Now it's time for him to waddle on his own 2 feet via the glorious SHR media. Gird thy loins for the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, coming soon to ossicles near you. Excelsior. Jersey Joe, Hook Reaver, Common Sense.
This is Eboni.
You can catch me every Wednesday
night. Good morning, this is Melanie.
Hello.
Standard Time.
Yes.
We're on commercial break.
That's every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, shrmedia.com. The best late-night conservative talk show in America. Package Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best late night conservative talk, Sackhead Radio. Heart, 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 news. Heart, 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 news. Heart, 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 news. Heart, 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 news. Sock. 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 The best late night conservative talk show in America. In America. In America. And in this web, it was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Okay, we are back. You are listening to Money Talk with Melanie. This is your business diva, Melanie Collette, with the Exceptional Conservative Network. I am on with Ms. Eboni K. Williams, who is our guest today. How are you this morning, Ms. Williams?
That's fantastic, Melanie. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. It is just such a pleasure to have you this morning. I watch you on Fox all the time, and I'm just going to say this first of all. Number one, for those of you who aren't familiar with Eboni, which I can't imagine, but for those of you who don't know the name, you will definitely know the face. Google her, you will know her gorgeous face. And this is what I love about Fox, and particularly the women on Fox. Everyone who's on there is not only absolutely gorgeous, but so smart. Like when you see a woman on Fox, and they get a lot of heat for how pretty everyone is on there, because everybody on there is pretty much stunning. But then when you look up their bios, they're accomplished. Like everyone on there is accomplished. And quite frankly, when I see a woman of color on Fox, I gotta go look and see what's up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And Miss Eboni Williams,
of course, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because listen, and I don't know how anybody's going to take this, but there's obstacles. I don't care how gorgeous you are. If you're a person of color, there's obstacles. And so when you are in that arena and you're a person of color, you've overcome some obstacles to get there, is all I'm saying. And you're pretty special, is all I'm saying.
I appreciate you saying that, Melody. That's so kind of you. And yeah, I think it's actually an important note, because I think as women, particularly women working in this particular media industry, it's television in particular, it's a visual media, the aesthetic matters, but, I always say it might get you through the door, but it won't keep you there, so that's where you have to have your credentials, your substance, your ability, your credibility, being consistent at all times, because that's really what's gonna make or break you in every industry.
And let the church say amen. So Miss Williams, as I was doing a little background research on Miss Williams here, accepted and enrolled to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill at the age of 16. Really?
Yes, I was quite a geek, and yes. Yes. You're guilty as charged.
Where she received her Bachelor's of Arts degree. Eboni has a BA in Communications and African American Studies from University of California at Chapel Hill, and her JD from Loyola University in New Orleans.
Yes.
Okay, College of Law. I was like, I wasn't surprised that your resume was healthy. I just wanted to know what it was, because I knew it was something. But I wasn't expecting. Yeah. I wasn't expecting accepted and enrolled to University of North Carolina at age 16. That I wasn't expecting. I was like, okay, wow. Okay. But, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I was just, a really geeky, kind of nerdy kid. I'll make no apologies about it. It's as nerdy as it sounds. And I love school. What can I say? I love school. I love learning. I love my teachers. It was really, really fun for me. So I just couldn't get enough. So what happened was, by the time I got to high school, and you always sit down with our guidance counselors and our parents, and you map out your 4 years of high school. We just really ran out of classes to take. So we kind of just made a decision, the three of us, we'll just do it at 3. And so that's what happened. And then at 16, I just was fortunate to get a scholarship, an academic scholarship to Chapel Hill, and that was a dream come true. I came from a single mom. She had no college savings, so it was really by virtue of my academic scholarship that I was able to fulfill my dream of being a graduate of such an esteemed university like Chapel Hill. So it's, really to God be the glory, because he works all things out in his favor. So
absolutely, and let the amen. I love that. I absolutely love that. And like I said, when I see it, I go, that must be something special. Got to be something special there.
Thank you.
Fantastic. I love it. So let's get to the meat of this. Oh Lord, this presidency. The other thing one of the things that I like about watching you, and as I was promoting the show over the past couple of weeks, I was getting similar comments on my social media about you, is that you're very even-handed in your commentary. And it took me, every time I was listening to you comment, me being a partisan, I will admit that I'm a card-carrying Republican, I wanted to know. I was waiting to try to figure you out. Yeah, we want, in politics, we want to put you on a side. We want, we have our aisle, and we want to put you on a side. And I was like, okay, well, am I going to have another sister on the R side with me? This is what I'm thinking in my mind.
Sure.
This is what I'm thinking in my mind. I was having a hard time figuring you out, which actually is a very good thing, especially on Fox. Come on, let's face it. I love Fox because I'm a partisan, but I'm not naive.
I get that question quite often, and I'm always quite flattered by the question or the comment. Look, I am someone who am a proud registered independent. I have been for the past, maybe 12 years. And here's why. maybe it's the lawyer in me, and as somebody who knew I wanted to be an attorney since the age of 5, I've always been fascinated with the balancing of scales, with the notion of balance and fairness and justice, right? Obviously, those things that be something very, very special to me. And so as a young black woman in America, particularly, and I'll speak very candidly about it, I think every person in this country, we are all Americans, absolutely first and foremost. And, not but we all, depending on, what our backgrounds are by way of not just race, but culture, gender, regional, family dynamic, everything, those elements and dynamics understandably and rightly so play into our political schism, our lens, our interest, if you will. And I'm someone that full-heartedly believes every American is best served by, if we're going to have this two-party system, that both parties, so to speak, have to be healthy and robust and really competitive for every vote, for every man and every woman and every race and every creed. Right? So I am an independent for that reason, because I am all about the robust debate and the adversarial nature and all that stuff going to play, so that in every election, Melanie, when I go to cast my vote and every American goes to cast his or her vote, we can look at the best of all our options. That's my dream for the American political system. And that's why I reserve my right to be an independent. And we actually make up, the fastest growing political identification group in America. We're right now roughly about 40% of Americans actually identify as independent, and we're growing faster than we can keep count of. So when you see my analysis on Fox or any other venue, it's even-handed, not because I don't have a position or I'm hesitant on it. So I have a very strong point of view on pretty much every single policy element in our discourse. But my analysis doesn't come from an agenda pushing around the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, or even a particular candidate. It's really about the policy and the meat and the impact it will have on the constituents and the citizens and everyday working Americans in this country. So and I'm always, as a lawyer, I'm trained to be able to have my point of view, but always be able to identify, understand, and on some level comprehend the alternative viewpoint, because that is what we're trained as lawyers, and really that is where we get our strength. I spent many, many years as a criminal defense lawyer, and one of my biggest strengths and how I was able to be the best advocate for my clients, I was always able to anticipate the prosecution side and understand their argument, what they would be laying out as evidence, and how jurors would connect with them. And only if you understand, are you going to be effective in making your own argument in your own case. So that's really, I hope, gives you and your listeners some insight as to my political vantage point.
That makes so much sense. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I did hear you one day on one of the shows say you were a registered independent, and I said, yeah, that makes sense. I said the same thing.
Right.
Said that makes a lot of sense.
And really, I will say real quickly, independents kind of sometimes get a bum rap, like, we don't want to take a side, or that's code word because we don't want to be demonized for being either Republican or Democrat. But look, I say I'm like a real try to true independent in the sense that I have actually voted for candidates that have identified themselves as Democrats, and I've actually voted for candidates who have identified themselves as Republican. So it truly is all fair game for me. It's about what you bring to the table as a candidate, what your record speaks, what your policies look like. That's which way I'm going to go. Mm-hmm.
But I think that, as independents, your vote is most important, and like you said, most balanced. And let me ask you, especially as an independent, how do you feel about how slowly the Trump administration's cabinet is being confirmed?
I'm actually not bothered by the pace, personally, and I'll tell you why. I am someone that prefers to get it right than get it done fast. And again, I think this is coming from my legal background. How often do we see cases ran through the courts for the sake of expediency or efficiency? We don't want to have a, quote, broad docket, right? But I think sometimes that's where we get to our greatest miscarriages of justice. That's where you've got DNA evidence rushed through. You've got eyewitnesses that haven't been properly vetted. You've got all kinds of problems that find ourselves with the case. Now, I'm not someone that's for the, dragging, if you will, of a process, but I would much rather the cabinet properly with the correct vetting, the correct hearing, even the nominees themselves being completely comfortable with, where they are going in terms of their various cabinet positions and who they surround them. Look, take the time that's necessary to do it right versus, we get a cabinet assembled in 2 weeks and both the administration and the people are crippled by it.
Sure. Now, and listen, I think your point is legitimate. My only concern is I feel like this is, the Democrats don't have the votes really, and I think it's intentional. And from an efficiency standpoint, you're stagnating the system, and you're costing the country money. You're affecting the economy. Of course, that's a concern. I feel like it's a partisan thing, and not really, like, they're not really trying to vet these people. I don't know that that's what they're trying to do.
Well, I'm going to push that around because here's the thing. Let's look at the calendar, right? We know President Trump took office literally on the 20th. So really what we're talking about is we're not even a month out from his presidency being official, and we've got most of these positions locked down with very few outstanding. Now, let's talk about your point about the partisan nature of the hearing holdups. Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, there is a Democratic interest in the slowing down of this confirmation process. Of course, the Democrats are going to take that position, and I don't think that makes a lot of story the same way that most Republicans, although yes, they eventually did confirm President Barack Obama's nominees, of course they're going to be questioned. That's natural, and I think the most concerning of the nominees, there really were just two that I think really, really caused a lot of angst and anxiety, and that was Betsy DeVos.
Right.
And then, of course, Senator Sessions.
Right.
And I said on Brett Baer's show a month ago that you could pretty much take it to the bank that those were going to be the two nominees that the Democratic Party would spend their ammunition on. Now with the Education Secretary, that's a different conversation, which we can have at a later point. I want to spend some time on Senator Sessions. I am someone, and we all saw what happened, last night with Senator Warren and Mitch McConnell, kind of quieting her, taking her voice from her. But ultimately, we do know that letter from the late Coretta Scott King was read on the floor. And the concerns are there, Melody. And so we can acknowledge that it's partisan, obviously. You're right. But I don't think that they exist in a vacuum. I don't think that the concerns around Senator Sessions' history around race relations and voting rights, I don't think those are non-issues, right? And I think that he deserves and should really take and maximize the opportunity to answer the concerns, right? To say, you know what, 35 years ago, this was a position I took, and share with the American people and certainly his members of the Senate where his evolution has been on these issues, so that everyone can have a better understanding of truly where because he's going to be confirmed, let's be serious.
Right.
So that everyone has a better understanding of where our Attorney General really is currently on these issues. I don't think that is an unfair inquiry.
No, I don't think it's unreasonable as long as they're not knowingly, and I know this is naive, especially for someone who is involved in politics herself and has worked on a couple of campaigns, but as long as they're not intentionally demonizing him, which I know there's probably a little bit